the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Atwall's Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you a bit of a review video on a brand new product from Outdoor Revolution. So with me here today, I've got the Outdoor Revolution Cayman Cacos SL PC. So essentially, you may have heard that name previously before. Reason being is actually is kind of a new model that was introduced into the range for 22. Going forward in 23, we've got the same kind of design and concept, but now in a polycotton PC fabric. Joys of actually kind of the Cacos is all about hitting a really keen price point, but still giving you the main core features that you want. And now obviously you've got that more luxurious fabric of the polycotton. Polycotton is certainly a benefit because on a certainly warmer day like it is today, when it's scorching hot, generally you have a much cooler internal temperature. The reason this happens is because the weave of the fabric can actually be more natural, expand, allow air to pass through so it's a bit cooler. On a sort of cold day, the weave contracts and keeps the warmth in. So it's the best of both worlds, and generally from a lifespan you also get a much longer period of time that you can use the product for, just as a bit more resilient to UV and just general degradation. Now, one thing we do see with the fabric is naturally it's a little bit more money, but you do pay for that and get a better material. But also it's a little bit heavier and a little bit bulkier. So it's one of those things you consider what you necessarily do. For the UK market, you can just about kind of get away with polyester depending on the weather. But if it's like today, you will notice a real difference, or quite a few temperature degree difference between polyester and polycotton. The thing I quite like the Cacos is it's a side-fitting model, so it faces the same way as the van itself. The joys of this being is that actually then you're facing the view, not directly onto your neighbour's pitch. It's essentially a really nice sort of main sleeping section at the back there, and when you have the ability of a bedroom built into it as well, which is quite nice and neat. So it means you can house, up to 4 people quite comfortably in that bedroom section. An open kind of canopy, as you can see here, is really quite nice, and there's an optional porch door made in polycotton again, which you can actually zip onto this if you wish to enclose it, so you can actually increase your overall internal space. And if you really want to, an additional bedroom can be put in here as well to increase your sleeping capacity. It's a little bit of a hybrid, so it's an air, but you've got essentially a front fiberglass pole that runs throughout it, so that helps to necessarily keep the cost quite keen. Each beam is inflated individually, and it kind of uses Outdoor Rev's dynamic valve, so it's a really nice big dinghy style valve with a big button, and a manual stirrup pump comes supplied as standard. Now, with the fitment heights, there are 2 different versions of it. They do the kind of the low and then also the mid. So the low will fit a van from an attachment rail from 180 up to 210, and then the mid is 210 to 255. So it depends on where you're going to sit in that. So your low is more going to be for your VW transport, VW T5s, or your kind of Ford Customs transporters, that sort of ilk. Whereas your mids can be more possibly like panel vans or even low profile motorhomes. But of course you want to measure the rail before you do anything. Stitched onto the tunnel section to attach it to the actual awning itself, to your wind out or whatever you've got a 6mm and a 4mm beading, so that can go directly into a wind out or into a C rail. You've still got a pole and sleeve, so you can actually, if you've got like a gutter rail, clamp it directly into there. Or you've got guy ropes that can go over the top of the vehicle and peg to the other side and just pull that tunnel nice and closely to the awning itself. Little notes in the front here, we've got little windows located here, and then we've got a front door section which kind of got a full mesh built onto it and can roll aside, and then there's a little lip that drops down, so you have a trip-free entrance, and we'll come to that in just a second. On the side door we're located here, we've also got access into the main part of the awning quite happily. Again, you've still got a full mesh door, so if you want that sort of bug protection on a warm day, and certainly at night, even if you have a light on inside, you're not going to have everything all flying directly in. Low level ventilation situated beneath the point here is quite nice and easy, and generally as from a pitching point of view, I've pitched the Cacos on my own in about, I think it's about 11 minutes, so it's brilliant. You can check out our Atwall's video on that and how quick, simple and easy that really was to do, and it gives you a bit of an idea of what if you use it as a bit of a instruction video if you really want to as well. But yeah, it's a quite nice little option. What we'll do, let's kind of swing the camera around, look straight down the barrel of the awning and talk for a load more features that we have on the inside of the Cacos. So now we're kind of a bit closer to the Cacos, you can kind of appreciate kind of the front setup we have located here. So as previously mentioned, you've got a sort of a good amount of head height throughout of it. More than happy to have sort of tables and chairs out here if you want kind of just somewhere to shelter the area to be out of the sunlight or even out the rain on those awful days. Front door you've got built onto it as well is a solid front door, so you can't necessarily see through it, but essentially you still got the mesh part, and because you've got that sort of canopy on the front, even on the day when it's chucking down rain, you can still have that quite happily sort of in situ or of course open. As we open it all up, we can zip it along not only the side but also along the bottom, so it's a really nice thorough zip that can then quite happily roll to the side, toggle back quite nice and neatly. Now the curtains that you have kind of on the main part of the model are sort of all toggle up, so you have the ability to kind of go almost halfway with the or fully up to the top, so again you can get a different amount of coverage as you see fit. The entrance, like I said, drops down nice and neatly, so what you have is almost the ability to get a bit of a better seal, but still have the option of having for pushchairs, wheelchairs come in without having a trip hazard, or even for kids. And not only is that the same with the front door, but also the side door into the van section. The door is sort of fixed at this point here, so it can't open up fully, but it still allows you to kind of flow into the main front of the area. As we come back, what you can see is we have a sleeping compartment as standard with it, so it's a 4-berth bedroom with a toggle divider. You've got obviously leave it in place at all times or take it out if you want extra internal space. Storage pockets down the bottom here to kind of keep it nice and neat, but overall some really nice height. There's some additional base of poles you can buy if you want to give yourself a bit more extra torsion into the awning. Again, just kind of beefs it up a bit more and gives a bit more rigidity. Basically combines with obviously the normal guy lines and the pegging points you have out anyway. And in fact, let's bring the camera in, probably is a bit easier to get a feel for it. I'm not sure if you can see overly from the difference in there. So, like I said, we've got the bedroom side here, so you can see it nice and neatly there. You've got the storage pockets that I obviously previously mentioned, I think works really quite nicely. There is a mesh part to the door that will lead onto the van itself, and it sort of has, it sort of rolls back from left to right, so it sort of imitates what you can see, which will happen with the actual van itself. Now, tunnel doors, there's one towards the back, so you can actually, if you need to go out of the van without going through the awning, you can more than happy do that. It's only on the rear, not on the front, so it means you would have to go out the rear of the vehicle every time without going through the awning itself, which is a slight pain, but essentially what you get for value wise, you know, you can see kind of where there's a few compromises in the place. Additional tension strapping, which is really quite nice and easily, so again you can have that ability to, and one thing you also have is there's a little draw cord through that, so you can get that side looking sharp even when you're on the lower end of the bracket. When I mentioned earlier, we talked about kind of the different parts of the cater, so you can see there's a 6mm and a 4mm part of the cater as well, and you've got a sleeve for a pole and clamp kit, or more than happily throw the straps over the actual top of the awning itself. We've got a decent sized beams as well in here. You can see the door quite literally on the other side, and then the toggle divider can be removed if you want to have it as one big open bedroom for additional sleeping. There is a hanging point for a lantern located directly above the front door, and then little tabs for electric cables to go down if you see fit. What we'll do is actually head around the back of it and out and round, just to kind of give you again a bit more of a feeling about it. So from optional extras point of view, you can look at things like obviously the porch door is mentioned, the bedroom for the porch door. You've got footprints, carpets, obviously additional poles, but all in all, it's a nice little bit of kit. I think definitely from value for money, if you were looking for that next level with polycotton, it sort of sits almost above the combo that's kind of Outdoor ever do, which they do also do in the polycotton fabric, which was admittedly late arriving into 22, but I think generally quite popular from that point of view. But all that's kind of a little video review and a bit more of an idea about the actual awning. If you want any more questions or queries on sort of dimensions, I think it's about 3 meters wide, about 5 meters long there or thereabouts. It gives you a bit more of an idea about the nitty-gritty details or even individual specifications of everything. You can check the link below this video. It'll take you straight through to our website where we have more information located there, as well as things like the pitching videos and how to attach it to your van and all those other questions that you may necessarily have. I think as a product itself, it's quite nice. It's nice, definitely something that's more price orientated. So you don't have all the elaborate features like zip-up curtains or a secondary door on the front side of it. The bedroom is just toggle divider rather than zip. But I think it ticks the main key features that you want from a driveway, and being that polycot material, I think would be, certainly with the weather we're having recently, I think is a real big bonus. So I think all in all, I think it's a really nice product. You've got a good price, not necessarily compromising on quality, and give you your basics in a premium material that you need. So I think, yeah, overall it's quite a nice little look at. For more information, check the link below. We'd love to hear from you guys as well, so always good to have feedback. But that's kind of a little video review. Thank you for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.